I'm Mark Kaiser, and this is North American Hunter. On this week's episode, North American Hunter managing editor Luke Hartle. He drew one of those great Iowa whitetail tags and the privilege to hunt big bucks in corn country. You're watching North American Hunter.
I've been waiting 3 years for opening morning of the Iowa firearm season, and this morning was far from a disappointment. We saw at least 30 deer, including one gorgeous 8-point that I waffled on for a little bit, but ultimately decided that morning number one or not, I'd shoot this deer in a heartbeat. Unfortunately, as you can see, this morning ended a little sooner than I anticipated because this fog rolled in front of the front and I can't see a dang thing. If this fog does indeed go away, it could be a really good afternoon. When it came to my expectations for this hunt, I didn't necessarily have a number with a deer. I didn't need to kill a 130 or 140. I just knew I wanted to kill a very good deer that was an accurate representation, or hopefully a little bigger for the area.
In my opinion, he needs to take the first opportunity at a mature deer that hits at least the 140-inch mark. We manage our 1,000 acres of hunting that we have here for mature bucks. A trophy is in the eye of the beholder, but what we look for is something that reaches at least 4.5 years old as a mature buck.
They have good numbers of really, really big deer, especially in the southeast corner of the state. Right now for non-residents, it's taking anywhere between 2 and 3 years to draw, depending upon if you want to hunt them with a slug gun, muzzleloader, or with a bow. First morning in Iowa, and I'm already inside of 300 yards. Of a 130-inch buck. He looks like a 3-year-old 8-point from here. It's tough to tell. And I really don't want my hunt to be over this quickly, but technically I've already been waiting 3 years to draw this tag, so if he comes close enough, I think I'm gonna let him have some lead, but I don't think that's gonna be the case. He was 100 yards further than I'm really comfortable shooting with that slug gun. And I would have been happy with the deer, but my gut still wanted something bigger. Mike set us up on a different piece of property for the evening hunt, and we were set up right in the middle of the bedding area and the feeding area. Classic whitetail hunting 101. And a very young, but very, very good buck came and gave us an excellent look. He walked, he took his time, and he ended up at 40 yards. A very good deer, but a very young deer. And I ultimately decided that this deer was only a 2-year-old, and that shut me down right away. I was not gonna kill a 2-year-old deer that had that much potential. Crawled out of the blind for the morning. Got picked up, and on our way back we saw a really big deer. When I say really big, I mean like a typical 12.
I told Luke, I said, we've got a good deer that's coming out in one of my food plots.
Property manager Mike hasn't seen this deer for a month and a half, and they're working this way real quick. Now we got out, got dropped off. Thankfully he's still in property. We can hunt and try to get ahead of him. That could be a decent weight here, but he's big. I caught just a glimpse of his frame, but when Mike says he's a legit 180-inch deer, it's for real. We set up, and like big bucks always seem to do, he slipped out the side. The good news is he slipped right back down into the valley that we had hunted day number one. So we made a plan for that evening, and of all the big deer in the area, I was willing to wait out this buck at least throughout day number 2. He ended up back down in this draw with a couple of does. During that entire situation while he was running around, he was the back deer in the pack, which means he was following a hot doe. He could have peeled off at any time and went anywhere, but he stuck out with those does. And based upon what we saw that first morning, all the deer funneling back up this way. We were watching from the other side, and all the deer funneling back up this way to eat in this picked cornfield. So after 3 hours of sitting in the brutal cold, and after seeing those 30 deer work up that hillside that we had seen the morning before, not one of them came up that hillside when we were sitting there, and it was frustrating. It was super frustrating. Get my hopes up on a big deer like that and not even get a glimpse of any deer, let me know that we had made the wrong decision on where to set up. But what that did was motivate me hardcore for day number 3.
North American Hunter is brought to you by Cuddyback. Don't get blanked, get a Cuddyback. Mossberg, built rugged, proudly American. Smith & Wesson, made in the USA since 1852. By Wildlife Research, maker of supercharged scent killer. And by Federal Premium Ammunition. One shot says it all.